Yo, peoples, we have reached it. The end of a series. The end of an era. I've been covering Jujutsu Kaisen for 2 years now, and I feel like it's been so soon after My Hero Academia ended. And mind you, I didn't start reading Jujutsu Kaisen until the series was already very further along. I mean, the Shibuya incident was already happening when I first started reading the series, from Jujutsu Kaisen 0 all the way up until now. And now here we are for the end of the series. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome to my final reading of Jujutsu Kaisen. To give you a little bit of a backstory of what happened prior, if you guys don't know, my stream completely conked out on the entire first half of this chapter, so that means that anything I said, I want to say, let's see. I want to say 12 pages in, none of that stuck. So now I'm rereading this chapter, and I'll edit it later, so that way this chapter can be complete for everyone. Skips, good to see you. Holster, good to see you as well. CDs, thank you for letting me know. Hey, for the final chapter of Jujutsu, hey, we roll with the punches. But last we left out on, we had the account of everyone, with us finding out that some remnants of Sukuna's remains fused with Tengen, and Tengen sealed behind this big old wall. And you know what? Just for I'm gonna have it here so I can make sure that it keeps going. This is fire. Well, thank you, Rainbow Dash Element of Loyalty. Good to see you as well. Can't believe it's the end. It really is. I'm redoing the chapter again because the stream cut off. The stream and internet just messed with me, so I got to redo it again. So it's good to see more people here. But the remains of Sukuna fused with Tengen, and Tengen's been sealed inside of this big old cave overseen by Utahime and Gakuganji. Utahime is worried about, it being in there and worrying more about countermeasures and such, but Principal Gakuganji says, like, you're all young, don't worry about this now, live your lives. And then we have Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi, as they're preparing to take on one more mission before this series ends, because it has a girlfriend going home to her boyfriend, and something or someone is assaulting them using a curse technique by making her boyfriend's face look like it's a pulled up anime style. So now we get to see what happens when Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara take on this mission. So, and here we have a big color spread panel where we see pretty much all the major players. I see Principal Yaga, I see Choso, I see Shoko, I see Kinji Akari and Kirara, I see Meimei, I see Aoi Todo, I see Geto, and I mean Geto, not Kenjaku, because Geto is lacking the stitching that goes across his forehead. We have Yuji, we have Megumi, we have Nobara, Hanakurusu, we have Ijiji. I want to say that is Toji way in the back. We have Mekamaru, we have Ino, we have Miwa, we have Mai, we have Utahime, Principal Gakuganji, Higuruma, we have Ui, we have Kamo, we have Momo, we have Yuta Okotsu, we have Maki, we have Nanami, we have Kusakabe, Panda, Inumaki, and among some other people, we also have Gojo. Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami, Chapter 271 from now on. So we begin with Nobara speaking in the same room with the girlfriend, going,
I didn't notice a curse seal or a curse technique marking the guy's girlfriend. The perpetrator might be nearby. If it's remote and not a cursed spirit, then one or the other should show up.
And then Yuji, so we're inside the range of the enemy's curse technique right now? And then Megumi, It's possible. The cursed technique could be covert, or the perp could excel at handling cursed energy. This could get tricky.
Are there set times when your boyfriend's face returns to normal?
And then the girlfriend speaks.
No. Well, I wouldn't know it if it happened while I was asleep.
Let's suppose that's not the case and estimate the technique has a radius of 50 meters. Considering the lack of harm, they may always be within 100 meters of you. Now what? We're downtown. There are always people here. Even if we just looked for the perp's base, there aren't too many buildings and blind spots. But with a good idea of the area, we might notice. But with a good view of the area, we might notice when the curse technique reactivates. We can lure the perp to a wide open area. Sure, assuming the perp is an idiot who'll just follow us wherever.
He indirectly called me an idiot! Idiot! How about Itadori dashes off with the girlfriend? They get outside 100 of meters in no time.
Like I said, the perp won't follow. Even if the curse disappeared, the perp would go into hiding for a while unless they are a total idiot. Then the perp will just do it again later when the dust settles. So we have to be careful not to attract attention. He called you an idiot too, Kujisaki?
Huh? Maybe the couple takes a trip by car?
That's an option, but while we have to search for the perp by sight, they're probably using a curse technique to track the girlfriend's whereabouts. Both of us tailing them while searching isn't promising. If the perp doesn't follow, we might be able to locate them when the couple returns and the curse technique reactivates. That's possible, but the timing would be up to the perp. Now, mind you, the couple is completely lost on this conversation because they have absolutely no idea about anything dealing with curse techniques or anything. They're just all like, huh? What? Curse technique? Radius? What? You say you want to go where with my girlfriend? All you do is object, Fushiguro.
And you overestimate the perp's intelligence.
Lots of people are dumber than us.
I want to wreck Fushiguro at Othello.
Yeah, I want to show that I'm not dumb. I'm not that dumb. So you admit you are dumb? And then Megumi starts to walk outside. I'm borrowing your sandals. Anyway, we need to naturally get the girlfriend outside the curse technique area. Then take down the perp when they reactivate the curse technique. Yeah, so? How do we do that? I think we can use that. And while Megumi is outside on the balcony, he points to a very large condominium. A 40-floor condominium. The top floor is over 150 meters above ground. The couple can pretend to visit a friend, taking the elevator to the top floor, and thereby getting outside the perp's curse technique area. Ichichi and a window are staking the main entrance and emergency exit on the first floor. From someplace with a good view, we'll watch for the perp to restart the curse technique. That's when we'll capture them. The perp seems to be obsessed enough to harass the Fukuzawa couple 24/7. We didn't find any bugs in their apartment, so as long as a curse technique hasn't leaked our plans, this should lure our target. And the Fukuzawa couple, whose name escaped me for a while, they start going up the elevator and they get to the 40th floor, and then the girlfriend goes,
his face went back to normal.
Because this whole time, all she was able to see is just his eyes just being real big and bugged out and it like pulled back. Like his eyes were taking up pretty much most of his head in a ridiculous style. Then Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara notice where the curse technique is coming from almost immediately. And Nobara's looking down, and it's some dude who's going like, huh? Who are those guys? As this dude has a big old winter jacket on. He's got a mask over his face and a hoodie on his head. And Nobara goes,
this is Kujisaki, I'm going in. He looks weird again.
Because apparently this dude's curse technique has reactivated, and it's assaulting the girlfriend's boyfriend again. And Nobara, with her ridiculously strong hammer, jumps off the building she's on and uses it to just like drag herself. First of all, where you get a hammer that's strong enough to not only resist all the damage that's being done to it, but is also strong enough to completely support your weight. Also, we need to talk about Nobara's grip strength, because if you try to use a hammer and embed it into a surface, your grip strength needs to be superhuman in order to hold on and not suddenly just fall and slip away from the handle. Because I'm just thinking of an average person. I'm thinking of an average person who's using a hammer. They embed it into a wall and then they try to go down an entire building. At some point, someone is not going to have a perfect grip and they just going to like, it's just going to be, it does it again. It does it again. What you talking about? I had to double check. I see it being choppy. But I'm going to keep going. She drops down. I'll keep an eye on it. If I see a wheel that's turning. If I see a wheel that's turning on my phone, then I know something happened. But let's keep going. But Nobara jumps off the building and just drags down the side of the building with her hammer. And both Yuji and Nobara drop down on the rooftop that's adjacent from the guy. And he immediately starts trying to run. And then both Nobara and Yuji are looking and goes,
"This'll be an easy win."
And Yuji looks at Nobara, and Nobara has a big old anime eye. And then Nobara looks at Yuji, and Yuji has some ridiculously big anime eyes. And they go like, ah! And then the dude with the hoodie, he immediately the dude with the mask and hoodie, immediately starts taking off and goes, "Idiots." But then, whoa! It's back. I'm having trouble today. No. I gotta refresh. Michael Malger, good to see you. Hopefully you guys can see me. Can you guys see me? Do I need to refresh my page? I'm good. I don't see anything. Okay. Today is weird. I'm sorry, everyone. Don't worry. I'll edit this so it can just be the reaction itself. So let me just go back to what I left out on. Refresh it on the phone. I refreshed it, but I need to refresh it on you're good. Thank you, Roland. But let me make sure that I get back to where I was reading it so we can just keep going from there. That is so weird. Yeah, I'm being constantly disrupted. And I can't go back and look at what the image looks like the entire time. So let me just go back. So both Yuji and Nobara, they drop down to the rooftop. Internet trying to ruin my final reading of Jujutsu. Okay. All right. So, but the dude with the hoodie, dude with the hoodie and mask, he tries to run, but I decided to watch your reaction to JJK because I have nothing to do. You left off with Nobara's hammer. Okay, so I got the footage where it says where I said everything else after Nobara's hammer. It's weird. It's really weird today. I'm gonna have to look at this whole stream in full once I'm done, just see what happened, because it's really weird. It's really weird. But the dude starts running. Has to be a YouTube system. They may have done something new. Maybe. But let's keep going. I got y'all here. Let's go ahead and let's just keep going with where I left off since I got all the footage. Your reading level is over 9,000. Well, thank you, Snow. Thank you. But the dude starts running and he goes, idiots. And then he runs directly into Megumi's shadow dog, his shadow wolf. And then the dude just goes, ugh. You guys lack focus.
We're sorry.
As it shows Yuji and Nobara with those goofy looking eyes because of this dude's curse technique. And then they got the dude in handcuffs. And he's in front of the girlfriend as they go, do you know this guy?
No, not at all.
And then he gets upset and he starts sweating and he goes, well, he calls her out of her name. I can't repeat it because I don't use profanity. And he goes, you witch! How can you say that? And both Yuji and Nobara get in front of her because they want to make sure she stays safe. I'm the one who bought you that bag! And then both Yuji and Nobara go like, oh. But he bought her the bag? What? And the girlfriend looks down at the bag and goes,
oh?
Then we cut to some time later, and everyone's getting drinks. It shows Nobara and Yuji drinking something from a vending machine, and she goes,
I can't believe how trivial that was.
It really does not want me. It really doesn't want me to on Total Log again. It's YouTube. It has got to be YouTube. But we're still good. I'm gonna keep going.
I can't believe how trivial that was.
It makes sense that she wouldn't recognize a customer from her days working at a cabaret club. It's a simple case of resentment.
But that bag cost a fortune. How could she forget?
Pretty convenient, no?
You don't know anything.
And then Yuji is just looking at the guy inside the back of the cop car. Now, the thing is, this is a classic example of r/nice guy syndrome. Please, for all the dudes who are out there, please don't be like this, where you get something nice for a lady in the hopes that she will suddenly start to like you back just because you got her something nice. That is not how you build a relationship. I'm just saying. Because then you'll get the idea like, oh, I got her something nice. Now she owes me to go out with me, to hang out with me. I spent all this money on you and you won't even give me the time of day? And I'm like, bruh, you setting yourself up for failure. You reek of failure. Why would you even put yourself in that situation? So it's just don't be those types of guys. Do not be those types of guys. You're making the rest of us good guys look bad. There's a difference between a nice guy and a good guy. There's a difference between the two. But Yuji looks at the guy in the back of the car and he just goes over to him and goes, buck up, man. You won't get the death penalty. What will I do from now on? I don't know how to convey affection, so I ended up blaming the other person. Like, see, right here. I don't know how to convey affection, so I hope that by me doing and buying stuff for another individual, that should be how affection works, right? Let me just buy this super expensive handbag for this woman that I saw at a cabaret club. Oh, she has a boyfriend? Let me harass them because she's not with me. Are you smoking? If you it's just like, when I see situations like this, I'm like, okay, maybe you didn't catch a hint. Maybe you didn't catch the hint. If you ain't with the girl now after you gave her the handbag, go away! If she got somebody else and you think you just buying her an expensive handbag is all that it took for her to be able to reciprocate your affections, you was a fool. You brought it on yourself. But then you stalking people? You find out where she stay? That's already a problem. That's already a problem. You know where she live at. So I'm glad you're going to jail. Say hi to Diddy and them, because y'all both deserve to be there. But don't be these people. Don't be these people. Yeah, I learned my lesson a long time ago. I asked this female out and I paid lunch to a Paris-type food. And a week later, I learned she was married. I was like, no. Oh, no. No, we got to continue. No, we'll talk later. Right now, I need to cap off my entire reaction to Jujutsu. So let's keep going. Buck up, man. You won't get the death penalty. What will I do from now on? I don't know how to convey affection, so I ended up blaming the other person. And then we start to fade into a flashback. Where Yuji is apparently talking to Gojo. Gojo-sensei, I thought you'd be after Kusakabe for replacement training. That would have been fine, but how should I put this? Satoru Gojo hardly matters now. What are you talking about? The future and how I want you to face it. If the worst happens, it's my wish and my dream that you carry on in my absence. Even if I go out the way I am now, everyone will grow up and surpass me one day. Given that, I think it's better for at least one person to forget me and be strong in ways completely different from me. How could I forget you? This isn't like you. Where'd your confidence go? You gonna be okay like that? You're so naive. I've never been more sure of myself. I'm counting on you, Yuji. And then we come out of the flashback, and Yuji is talking to the guy. You already know where you went wrong, so you'll be fine. Atone and then come work for us. I'm counting on it. And then it cuts to Megumi and Yuji walking away with Nobara going,
Hey, what about that one thing?
I got rid of it.
You what?
Chill, it's not dangerous anymore. It's the perfect ward. You're incorrigible. So no worries. And it cuts to Yuji's hand that still is missing its ring finger and the pinky finger. It's missing both of those fingers. And then Yuji is just holding his hand up and he's looking up towards the sky. You know, the anime look where he's all like, You know the look. You see it all the time where the main character is just staring off at the sky like, next time, I'll be even stronger than ever. What you looking at? What do you see? Are you promising the sky, the clouds, that you'll be stronger? We never really bring that up, do we? Where we see a main character just staring off into space, and they're going like, next time, I'll be even stronger than ever. No one ever brings up like, bruh, who you talking to? You see something I don't? I'm sorry, this is just a funny tangent. Ghost Galaxy, good to see you. Welcome to my final Jujutsu Kaisen reaction. But Yuji's looking up, and then we get Mahito talking to Sukuna. Sukuna, you got here first, huh? Oh, you're here. Is this the third time we talked? Because my curse technique affects the soul, this is a kind of residue of that. This place is a passageway for the circulation of souls. I wanted to ask you something, Sukuna. You were lying, weren't you? To yourself and others? About just living as befits your nature? I think your life was about revenge against everyone who scorned you as an abomination. It amounts to the same thing. That is my nature. I know no other way. No, that's wrong. I could have chosen how to live. I had 2 chances. And it shows 2 individuals behind Sukuna. Of these individuals, and I think one of these individuals was Ura Ume, and another person was the Yoroza from back in the day. I want to say that they're Ura Ume and Yoroza. I could be wrong, but I had to vomit out the curse writhing in my entrails. I was afraid of immolation by my own curse. If there's a next time, maybe I'll change how I live. But that's boring! You're gonna settle down? Of course. After all, I lost. But then I'm the only unruly child left! And then it shows Mahito just falling into the void. And then it cuts to Maki, Yuta, Kotsu, Panda, and Inumaki. Then it cuts to Kinji Akari and Kirara. Then it cuts to Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara. And then, in a far-off place, I want to say, and I can't say it's the same exact location where they found where the series started, but we cut back to another little post shrine, and it's far off in a forest somewhere with light shining down on it, and the door of it creaks open, and inside is Sukuna's finger. But his finger looks different because it looks like it has like this little growth at the stump of it, and it's just sitting open, like the container for the finger is just sitting open in the middle of this forest. And that is how we end Jujutsu Kaisen. So, Yuji, I got questions. It's not dangerous anymore, so it'll be fine. It's still Sukuna's finger, though. Why isn't this under lock and key? Why isn't it someplace else? Why is it just in the open? And not even that, but the door is open. This is a cliffhanger towards the movie. Wait, is a Jujutsu Kaisen movie being made? Is one being made? Mahito was crying after finding out Nobara is alive for real. Yeah, thinking that like, idle transfiguration. Now your precious friend is dead, Yuji Itadori. And then come to find out, oh no, she's very much alive. 3 things that I'm disappointed about with JJK is no info about Yuji's domain, Kenjaku being alive, or someone else in Geto's body, and the Culling Games merger really just being a plot device in my opinion. That's okay, so we'll address this because now the chapter's over. I will edit this stream using YouTube's studio so that way I can just cut off the point where everything just went really haywire. Apologies for everyone who had to suffer through that. That was really weird. Gege said there will be a special chapter. Really? Well, I guess we'll keep an eye out for that special chapter for Jujutsu. But now I can focus on you guys and see what you all have said, even though a lot of it was like talking about how the stream was glitched out. Let me acknowledge everyone. Hybrid, Ginger with the side of Ninja, Snow, the Sneaker Blurred, Roland V-Dub, Eva01, Juke as well, CDs. Let's see, who else showed up here? Skip, Holster, Doomsday, always a wonderful name. Rainbow Dash, Element of Royalty as well. And of course, Michael Malger, and another person that came in a little bit towards the end, Ghost Galaxy, and Gojo himself. So, and Jace, welcome, one and all. Good to see you all. But this was an interesting way to end this series. This was an interesting way to end the series. I need this YouTube thing to catch up because it's acting funny again. YouTube is just acting funny in general. Ever since that storm rolled in, things have been acting funny. Ever since we had Helen roll through my neck of the woods, things have been weird. But this was an interesting way to end the series. Yeah, right before the glitch, I said Sukuna in the Dark World reminds me of Rurouni Kenshin, where Makoto Shishio walking into the underworld and was curious and said he needed to find his other crew. And not butthurt about the ending. Comfy God, I'm not too bothered by the ending. It wasn't this overwhelmingly grandiose ending where everyone is just like walking into the sunset with smiles on their faces and or something like that, because this story has never been was never that type of story. This was like, anyone is capable of dying at any given time. Even someone who was, pretty much one of the most overpowered people in the entire series. And now we sit in a world where Satoru Gojo is just dead because Sukuna is just that strong. So I never thought that this was going to be the type of story. I never thought that this was going to be the type of story where everything ended on a wholesome note. This episode felt like this chapter felt like the first episode of a new arc, maybe. I think I like the ending, right? Seeing Gojo kind of stung a bit. While I do miss Gojo, I like Sukuna's growth and conclusion to his character here. Yeah, because the entire time Sukuna just lived for himself. And that's it. He did what he wanted. He killed who he wanted. He ate who he wanted and didn't think anything past that. But after Yuji stuck him in his domain, where Yuji's domain expansion is literally therapy. Yuji's domain expansion is lifelong therapy. Lifelong therapy of an impure world. It is literally a therapy domain expansion. And after that happened, Sukuna got beat because he's all like, all right, tell me what was troubling you, Ryomen Sukuna. Tell me. Oh, and when you was a boy, what was like for you? What was life like for you? How did you grow up? Were you happy? Were your parents wonderful? Did they treat you right? Did you have any siblings? But overall, as far as this story goes, I mean, not every story needs to have like this big, titanically grand ending, because I feel like the story ended how it started. We have no idea what the future looks like in terms of where the story is going to go, and it pretty much just left that same way. Hey, we got Yuji and company. They just doing what they do best, and that's it. So overall, I want to say either two things. Gojo felt and knew Sukuna would somehow take him out with some backfire moves, but he just don't know what kind of moves. He kept thinking, yeah, I'm for sure will die, or he kept speaking to existence manifested. That's not how it works. Some people still want to know if Gojo went north or south. Gege showed us which way he went through Sukuna, because Sukuna said, I lost, which applies to Gojo as well. We never saw Nobara meeting Saori and Fumi, and there are so many questions to be answered, though. There is. Sukuna says he was a curse, yet he was willing to change and go down a different path, unlike a curse like Mahito, who will probably never change his ways. Sukuna says he's a curse. Yuji's domain was just talk no jutsu. That's what it was. Let me just tell you about my life in this domain expansion in the hopes that you will change your ways. But that was Yuji's domain. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Let me see. Do we ever let me see. And that website is immediately flagged as suspicious, so we're just going to go to the wiki. Let me see. Jujutsu, Convergence, Piercing Blood, Shrine, Dismantle, Reverse Curse Technique, Anti-Domain. It don't even list his domain expansion. He just did a domain expansion where it was just pure talk no jutsu. and that's how we end, and that's how we managed to get to Sukuna. But overall, I thought this ending, I feel like it fits. I want, and I know this is weird to say, but I feel like the ending of it fit. It was just them doing what they do best, just going throughout life, but not knowing what the future holds for them. They're just literally just living life. It's pretty much just left open-ended, if for a lack of a better word. It's because he did it by accident, that's why? Ah, right, I forgot about that. But he's more human than he lets on. Yeah, Sukuna, it really, that talk no jutsu must have been strong if Sukuna was thinking about changing his ways. No, not by accident, he just did it. He just did the domain expansion. It just happened, like it was a natural part of him. Not like a technique he had to cultivate. He just did it. But given everything that's happened from the Shibuya incident all the way until now, for it to end basically where it started, where it had like Sukuna's finger at the beginning of the... Matter of fact, you know what? It ended the series with the last panel of the series being Sukuna's finger that is inside the shrine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back to the very first chapter. Not chapter 0.0, not volume 0, but going to the very first chapter. And it is basically that same type of container, that same type of wooden post where Sukuna's finger was supposed to be. Except in the first chapter, the finger's not there. So at the end of the series, we have that same type of shrine. But Sukuna's finger is there this time. Let's see, I guess it lived up to the name Jujutsu fights, but the merger and the culling games really just ended up being a tool for cool fights and new sorcerers, in my opinion. You're not wrong, because there are still some things that I'm just overly curious about. Like, how did everything go for the culling game? How did that just completely wrap up? What about the people that were abducted by the Americans in the hopes of trying to harness cursed energy for themselves? What happened to them? What's going on with basically everyone else? Is Utah okay? Is the school okay? How are we moving forward with the Jujutsu world if Tengen is sealed once again? Is the barrier that everyone really relies on, is that still going? Is that still fine? There's still stuff that still kind of needs to be answered. Yet at the same time, it's a really weird mix here. We got stuff that needs to be answered. Yet at the same time, if the series just ends right here and we never get an answer, I don't think it impacts the main narrative of the story too much. I know it's weird for me to say, but I feel like if we don't know every single fine detail of what happened with the culling game and the people that got abducted, I still feel like it doesn't do too much to the narrative too much. Though it would help, It would help finding out, so that at least that's one little plot line that's just fully resolved. And then you got the whole thing where Takaba is speaking to an individual who looks eerily similar to Geto himself. So there's some questions there. So it's kind of weird. Tengen's remnants is still there, so the barrier is fine. Okay, I bet everyone is mad because JJK is over. I wouldn't say mad. Just, I can understand if people are confused towards certain things that were probably just straight up omitted from the end of the series, or how certain people are back, like Nobara, or how things may have turned out. I'm pretty sure people would be mad for a great slew of reasons for this particular chapter, and thus the entirety of the series as a whole. But for me, I don't think the ending is all that bad. I just would have liked to have had a little bit more info on the whole culling game and everything that went down with that. That's just me, though. That's just me. I mean, I'm not a difficult guy to please when it comes to entertainment. So for me, I mean, I just been enjoying the ride while I've been reading it. I'm not some individual who's analyzing every single word that's spoken and seeing some fault with it because I don't resonate with it. I leave that to people on Twitter and Reddit. But overall, I did enjoy the Jujutsu Kaisen story as a whole. Tons of characters in this story that I just found overwhelmingly cool. Maki herself said they have to go and save them that are captured by the army. So that's one. Okay, so at least we know what's happening with that. And given just how strong Maki is, I'm pretty sure ain't nobody going to be able to stand up to her because there are no curse users in America, as far as I know. They pretty much all just come from Japan, with Japan and someplace all over the world. But clearly, America doesn't have any curse users of their own, because when Kenjaku first introduced them to cursed energy, they were all like, we have no idea what this is. What is this wonderful power that we could possibly harness? So I'm pretty sure America has no curse users whatsoever, or curse sorcerers for that matter, who know how to harness it. So Maki, if Maki rolls up to America to get them people back, she getting them people back. She literally is the next Toji Fushiguro. So it's probably only a matter of time before Maki gets them back. As far as the culling game and everything, I would have liked to learn some more specifics, but oh well. And everyone else is just going about their lives, continuing on. Here's the thing. Here's what I thought was going to happen to Yuji during what happened during this series, during the entirety of the series. I actually thought Yuji was going to die and then just end the series with him dying so that, he'll take Sukuna with him. I actually thought that was going to happen. It wasn't until Sukuna played him and, took over Megumi's body that it threw that whole idea out the window. They don't have curse users because of the Tengen's barrier. Exactly. So yeah, that just makes it even easier for Maki to go and get those people back from America. But I honestly thought Yuji was going to die. But he kind of left the door open for part 2 if he ever wanted to do one. Probably because here's the thing. You got the finger of one of the most powerful beings in all of Jujutsu sealed inside of a thermometer shed, and it's not even sealed. The finger itself isn't even sealed. It's just laying out in the open. It's just right there. It's just laying out in the open. Ooh, finger. Let me mess with the finger. It's just a slab, just out in the open, left out to the elements. It ain't even covered. It's not even wrapped up. It's just sitting there in the woods, open. It's like you want this to happen all over again, except we ain't got nobody with the 6 eyes and the limitless to help. Why you just gonna leave the finger out in the woods? Why you leaving the finger out in the woods? Was it too hard to just find a place like the place where they would seal a whole bunch of different cursed tools? The Jujutsu school would have this stock room with the many doors where one leads to a bunch of cursed objects that Mahito broke into. I think that's why Gege added that that new curse user at the end. We'll see. I swear Gege is gonna pull something. I'm like, this is not something that you just put in the woods and leave by itself. You got people watching it? Why is the door open? Where's the latch? You close the door all the way. Put the finger in the box. Why the finger in the box? I see light shining on the finger. You don't want no photosynthesis hitting that. Why? Probably like Sukuna and Gojo comes back. I don't know. Exactly, left the finger all out in the broad light. Sukuna finger is now there to ward off the spirits. Well, that actually is a good deterrent, given the massive amounts of cursed energy that Sukuna held. It can be used as a good deterrent. Alright, just because I wasn't always here for JJK reaction doesn't mean I wasn't reading it. What a satisfying ending. Really? I thought it was alright. I can't immediately say it was satisfying to me, but at the same time I kind of can. Because it was like, okay, this is where we just ended on like a solemn note, and that's it. Reason why I said that, look how he did with Yuta and Zero. I was like, why he in the story? I tried to get in Gege's head. I'm not going to cope. The ending is what it is. And so far, he hasn't shown any signs of doing a part 2. I'm just saying for all the unanswered questions and the ending, it is a possibility. Anime All Day TV, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. It does feel like the ending for this is left open, where we could possibly see more. But that's just pure speculation. I know nothing about Gege and what's going on in his head, but it does feel like the ending was left open. The same way the door towards the shed that is housing Sukuna's finger right now was left open. I know it's kind of weird, but it does. This was an interesting way to end. This was an interesting way to end the series. In other words, you expected more? Kinda. But at the same time, I'm content with what we got. Like I said before you got here, Ozzy, I wasn't expecting this series to just be like, I wasn't expecting it to be like we ride off into the sunset being Jujutsu sorcerers and going forward in there. How old is Gege? He's 32. Hey, he's the same age as me. I'm the same age as Gege. Okay, interesting. Great minds think alike. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. But this was an interesting ending to Jujutsu. The ending was just plain. To be honest, I can see it. But for me, I'm like, this was regular. But I'm okay with regular. Odd enough to say. It was odd enough to say I'm okay with regular sometimes. So, yeah, that's how I feel. Though I will say this, I did enjoy the series as a whole. The Jujutsu battles, the explanation of, because I love reading stuff. I love reading. So when it comes to like curse techniques and stuff, when they were explaining how they work, I love how they explain curse techniques. However, those of you who know me know that the one curse technique and domain expansion that I hate and still cannot stand to read up on is Kinji Akari's, because there is such a long list on just fully understanding what this curse, what his domain expansion can do. Oh, this is basically, it works like a pachinko machine. Great. I don't know how pachinko machines work. So now Kenji has to get this roll. And then he can do this. And then he can do that. And then you need to understand how pachinko machines work, how roulette wheels work, how gambling just works in general in order for you to just fully understand how his curse technique works. So it's like, huh? So that's why I hated looking at Kenji's domain expansion, because it was just, I can't make heads or tails of this. Gojo, basically the mathematical concept of infinity brought into the physical world. Understandable. Sukuna has Shrine, where he can just slice things apart and even, manipulate cursed energy to such a high level that he's capable of just nuking entire cities. Okay. Then you have Mahito, basically able to manipulate the soul so he can just turn people into different things, from like exploding objects to basically human weapons if you wanted to. Geto has a curse technique that allows him to just basically take control of spirits, and then he can use them however he wants to. And then you have Takaba, literally a man who can make comedy into reality. A reality warper. But then you get to Kenji's domain expansion, and it's all like, okay, I'm gonna need you to write down this first paragraph on how the first part of Kenji Akari's domain expansion works. Then I'm gonna have a quiz on the second half, and then I'm gonna need you to write an essay on how there are different variables for Kenji Akari's domain expansion, and how his 4 minutes and 11 seconds of invulnerability is one of the most busted things in all of Jujutsu. That's it! Let's see. Oh, also, Shonen Sensei, good to see you as well. I hope everything has been right with you. It's been a while. I wouldn't say too long, but I hope everything's been good with you. Let's see. The ending felt very lackluster and rushed. Love the series and will miss reading it. I'll miss reading it too. Especially the fights between Sukuna and Gojo. Some of the peak fights, some of the best fights in this entire series. Let's see, what if we get Tengen? What if Tengen gets reincarnated into a sorcerer? I don't know. Infinite Jackpots got it. That's how I took it. See, anime all day TV, you know how they say explaining their technique so it makes it stronger. Well, if Hakari tried explaining it, it would take as long as Hakari and Udu were fighting. Yeah, it would. It would. Let me see. Been working a lot, trying to save up for a new house. Awesome. It has a unique sure hit effect and has boosters, whether it's odd or even, has an effect on the chances if he's likely to get a jackpot or not. It's complex, but I think it's fun. It's complicated, but at the same time, I like reading it because it's complicated, because I want to make myself understand. But overall, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this because I feel like I'm droning on for way too long. But you know, it's kind of warranted since this is going to be presumably the last time that I read anything and react to anything Jujutsu Kaisen related for all of you. Before I start to try and move Sakamoto Days and Kaiju number 8 to Sundays in the future. But yeah, this is the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. And for better or worse, I'm okay with it. That's my final verdict. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. It doesn't disappoint me. It doesn't disappoint me. That's all I'll say. It doesn't disappoint me, and I'm okay with it. But that's all I got for you guys. 20 people viewing me right now. Hello. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but yeah. What will I rate this chapter? 7. If I were to, I used to do like ratings for, if I were to do a rating for, I used to do ratings for chapters, but nah, not so much anymore. But if I were to give it one, I would say, 7. Let's see. We saw Sukuna. Why didn't we see Gojo? Because Gojo's a good boy. Sukuna is not. I hope Gege makes another manga. We'll have to see. But yeah, I give this chapter a 7, a pretty decent 7. If I were the series as a whole, I would give about like a 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. I heard Gege wants to do an idol manga. I don't know how true that is, but it's what I heard through the grapevine. Probably won't be reading that because I'm not into idol mangas. So yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. I will miss this series as well. I wonder what's going to be the next big thing. Yeah. It feels like we're losing series and One Piece is still going on. Would have loved a backstory on Sukuna and Kenjaku. Feel like it was a big missed opportunity on Gege's part. Yeah, finding out the motivations of Sukuna. Where he started. No, he ain't. He took out Toji and he made funny to Megami about it. Making fun of someone doesn't warrant you a trip downstairs. It does not. Even though people like to say like, oh no, you're definitely going there because you're making fun of this person. That's not how that works. So I'm pretty sure he's fine. Going to reread all the chapters of JJK. Now you can now you can reread it. The entire series from beginning to end now. Because the series over. But yeah. Next big 3 might be fire. We'll see. It's all good. Close peoples. Yeah, but yeah. Sorry, I've been droning on for too long. I really have. But my final thoughts on Jujutsu is I doubt Gojo would call himself a good person. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't consider himself a good person. But seeing as how he was in an airport and Sukuna was just in a black void, I'd say Gojo's probably better off. What's going to be a replacement for JJK? So the replacement for My Hero Academia is obviously going to be Sakamoto Days. And the replacement for JJK is going to be Kaiju number 8. Now, of course, I'm not going to immediately just add those to Sunday reactions because I'm going to have to do a read-through series and start that for Kaiju number 8, then catch up. And then when I catch up, both to Sakamoto Days and Kaiju number 8, then I'll move those to Sundays alongside One Piece. But Yeah, it's going to be a minute though before I get started on before I get to that point. So I thank you for your patience. But to everyone, not just for today's reaction, but to all of my reactions to Jujutsu Kaisen, from when I started reading this series for you guys and for myself 2 years ago, all the way up until now. Thank you. I said this for my hero. It was a joy reading this series for all of you. You've been such an amazing audience to read for, like my Sukuna voices, and then all these different characters that I've did voices for and dramatic readings of this entire series from volume 0 all the way up until now. It's been an honor and a privilege to do what I do for all of you as I do this continuously. And to this day, it was good. One Piece is still kicking somehow because the story ain't over and it's just getting better. It keeps getting better. But it was a joy reading through this series. Thank you for all the time you spent during my reactions when I'm reading volumes, all the way to the days when I'm reacting to the series on Sundays directly after church. You guys are just so amazing. Thank you for making me doing this whole series, such a wild ride and such an amazing experience. I can't stop saying just how grateful I am to have people like you who watch what I do on a regular basis, because you make this job worthwhile. But I'm done. Time to see the family downstairs and see if they grab some grub on the way in. But before you go, have I watched the Terminator Zero anime? It's too good. Highly recommend. I have not. I'll check it out after I'm done watching through the entirety of Arcane's first season, because I have yet to start a single episode. Do not tell Kitty. She will get me for that. But yes, thank you for all your time. You didn't owe me this, but I'm grateful I was able to read the final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen with all you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next thing I do, if you happen to be around. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!